Yes. Very good evening, one and all present here. On behalf of the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, M.H. Chellamuthi Institute, Madurai, Red Pond Education Psychological Research Center, Madurai, and Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey, I welcome today's speaker, Muthiah Ramanathan sir, and all the participants over here for today's session. And Muthiah Ramanathan sir is going to talk about TA for the parents of teenage children. Transaction analysis for the parents of teenage children. And to introduce that resource person to the audience over here, and now I request our core team member, Dr. Chandra, to introduce the resource person to the audience over here. Over to you, Dr. Chandra.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So very welcome to you from my side as well. And we're happy to introduce you to the group. Our resource person today, Muthiah Ramanathan sir, he serves as the director and founder of Mind Dynamics Center in Chennai. He is a specialized person in transaction analysis, hypnosis, psychology, and neuro-linguistic programming. He has served as the president for Hypnotic Circle in Chennai for over 14 years. He has his PG in psychology and PG diploma in guidance and counseling. He has also done his MS in psychotherapy. He has got 30 online certification courses in psychology. He is a certified trainer in NLP from NF NLP Florida, and he's a practitioner certificate in NLP. He holds a certificate in NLP from American Board of NLP also. So he has 30 years of experience, and he has presented a lot of training programs in all aspects of personality development. And he has also presented in-house training programs in Malaysia and Sri Lanka. He has presented papers in various topics in more than 10 transaction analyst conferences. And he has written 2 bestseller books in Tamil named The Powers of Subconscious Mind and Hypnosis, How to Score More Than 90% in Exams. And he has got nearly hundreds of his videos in various aspects published in YouTube. So 3 of his transaction analyst course in English and Tamil are available in Udemy online platform. So he has got book reviews, and he has appeared as guest of honor in interviews, and also he has appeared as panelist in psychology-based discussion in almost all popular Tamil TV channels. So we are very proud of your rich credentials, and we are very happy to have you here and eagerly looking forward to listen to you, sir. Thank you for being here.
So welcome, Madam Chandra, and welcome all the organizers. And special thanks to Subhashri Vanamali for inviting me. And the topic will be TA for parents and TA for parents, especially with teenage children. So not that only confined to teenage children. The other, you may have children of other age groups also, less than 10 also, more than 30 also. No matter what, if you are a parent and you have children, this training program will be of use to you. So by and large, for about an hour, for the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be talking about the special qualities of teenage children, and then I will come to TA and connect it with teenage children. Right? Am I audible clear? Am I visible clear? Somebody unmute and let me know.
Everything perfect, sir. Please proceed, sir.
So welcome. Thank you. Number one, teenage children are abnormal human beings. And meaning internationally, no matter where you are and who you are and with what designation or position you are, 2 things always help people to get them do something. One is called punishment, the other one is called reward. Punishment and reward work everywhere long as you are a human being. But then when we come to teenagers, this particular technique does not work at all. And these teenage children are not afraid of punishment, and they are not interested or motivated or encouraged by rewards also. So they are abnormal human beings, and it is welcome and it is good that teenagers are abnormal human beings, number one. And number two, teenage children normally, up till in Indian context, I want to tell you, teenage normally is an English term which says up to 12, the English terminology is different. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it becomes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 13 to 19 is called teenagers. But then here my context is not exactly teenagers, it is youth. It is youngsters. In Indian context, the teenage or the youngsters, they start blooming around 15, not at 13. They start 2 years later. and they keep remaining as youth till 2025 also sometimes. So it is not between 13 and 19, it is applicable between 13 and 25 also. That's the context in which I am talking to you, because that is how India works, or Indian culture works, or Indian parents and youngsters work. And coming over, teenagers, they become physically as tall as mummy, as tall as daddy, but then they are not psychologically developed in order to cope with. They don't have psychological maturity, but then they think they do. So that is where the problem arises for the parents. Teenagers think just because I'm as tall as daddy, just because I'm as tall as mummy or taller than mummy, daddy, I think I know everything. But then physiologically they have grown up, but then psychologically they are not matured enough to cope with the given situations on hand. That's a handicap. That's an universal handicap, not just restricted to India or Tamil Nadu or Chennai, whatever. It's an universal handicap. One more thing is Dr. Stephen Covey, the man who is popular for his book on 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he says up till 15 years, children listen to parents. They obey. They are compliant children or docile children. They listen to parents and they do whatever the parents ask them to do. Meaning, if as a daddy, if I tell my son 10 years old or daughter 10 years old, go bring me water, they don't ask me any question. They think it's daddy is asking for water, and go bring water, I'll give me water. They will give me water. Once they become 15 or 18, and then I tell my son or daughter, go bring me water, that's the time they look at me in the eye and ask me, have you ever brought water for me? Why don't you go walk yourself? Don't you have legs and hands? Why are you ordering me always around? Why are you remaining lazy? Can't you even go bring your water? So these are the kinds of words I never expected, especially I never expected from my children, but that's the way they talk. Meaning up till 15 years, they were dependent on us, and then from 15 to 25, like they become independent on their own. And one of the philosophies of TA is people becoming autonomous. Autonomy is the goal of transactional analysis, meaning people need to be on their own. So between 15 and 25, they will take all sorts of risks, and they will be absolutely careless, and they will enter into risky activities, and that's the way they gain their self-confidence. So from dependence to they become independent. Once they gain independence, and after they complete college or so, they are placed in an office. Could be a girl, could be a boy, doesn't matter. They are applicable to all genders. And once they go to the office, then they become interdependent, because the boss wants them and these people want the bosses, or the office needs them and these people need the office. So it becomes interdependence. And then after a couple of years, maybe 2 years or maybe 5 years, they get married. When they get married, that's the time the girl understands I need a husband, the boy understands I need a wife, and then they become husband and wife, and they depend on each other. And then after a couple of years, they beget children, 1 or 2, and then they realize that as parents, we need children, and children, they need parents, and then that also becomes interdependence. So the whole life is all about up to 15 years being dependent, and then 15 to 25 being independent, and then becoming interdependent for the rest of your life. So if in the process, when the children become independent, that's the time the problem of the parents come in, start to kick in. They don't understand the children. So far they thought whatever I tell them, they will listen to, they will pay attention to, and they will comply with, and they will be obedient, they will be docile, they will be giving in, they will be surrendering, they will be listening. But now you get to understand that these children, they don't listen, they don't comply, they are not docile, they don't give up, they don't surrender. They say, go to hell, go to dogs, go to, I care 2 hoots for you, I do what I like. They get into running buses and they get down from running trains, knowing fully well that they may break a leg, break a hand, break their head also, die also, but then they don't care. They are absolutely willing to take the risk. So punishment and reward, as I told you earlier, that doesn't work here, because these children are willing to take a risk. But that's the way nature has designed them. If these people do not take risk with their life, take risk in all sorts of areas. The number 1 people that they fight with is parents. Number 2, it is their teachers or lecturers or professors in the college. Number 3, in the society, it is a policeman. So they are not afraid of the policeman, they are not afraid of the teacher, they are not afraid of the parent, they are not afraid of anybody. They are not afraid of moving vehicle also. Driving their two-wheelers, it could be a motorcycle or it could be a car, driving at high speed and 80 and within the city also. So these people take all sorts of risks, but then there is no way the parents could control them. But this is the way they get to make their own decisions, stand up on their own 2 feet, think for themselves, arrive at their conclusions, take some actions, face some consequences, and then learn some lessons, and then alter their courses of action. So in that context, I'm telling you, teenage children have got to take risks. They cannot be docile, they cannot be surrendering, they cannot be complying, they cannot be obliging. They cannot be that way. If they are that way, we are creating children for the future. They are creating people for the future. So it is okay that people take risks, but then we need to limit it. But then you have to start with, get to understand that 15 years they change. They physically change also around 12, 13. There is a physical change in the girl. She develops her breasts and she starts her menstruation, and her physical shape also changes and it becomes attractive. And the boy, the voice breaks, the shoulder becomes broader, and he gets erections and night emissions. And the boy also changes. The moment the boy physically changes, the moment the girl physically changes, the boy becomes attractive to girl and the girl becomes attractive to boy, which is normal. That is the way nature has designed them, irrespective of the country, irrespective of religion or whatever, the place where you live in. If you are 15, your physical changes will happen because of hormonal changes inside. So hormones change and physical areas change, and people get attracted towards the other sex, and sex is important, and sex is the most important thing, and friends are the most important people. So far, mummy daddy was important. Suddenly, these people have resigned or divorced mummy daddy, and they said, hereafter it's a peer pressure, and my friend is more important. More than anything else, I'm willing to sacrifice my life for my friend. If my friend says so, I will listen. I will not listen to daddy, mummy anymore. That's also another change. And mummy daddy think now only, if only I can discipline my teenage children, everything will be all right. There is no way you can discipline them. Supposing they are playing tennis and there is a tennis court for singles players, and mummy daddy think the boy or the girl has grown a little bit. Now I'll give them a little more space scoring. Two people can play tennis. It's doubles tennis, and 2 feet by this way, 2 feet by this way, 2 feet by that way. Mummy daddy thinks I have given them more space. I am telling you, if your children were playing tennis earlier, now that they have become teenagers, what you need to give them is a football ground or a cricket ground. You cannot give them a larger tennis court. That doesn't work for them. As I told you earlier, they have become elephants. If elephants are not given the spaces, they will break the walls, they will demolish the walls. Figuratively, they have become walls. Figuratively, they are willing to take a risk. Figuratively, they are not afraid of punishment and reward. Figuratively, you are no more important. Figuratively, friends are more important. Figuratively, they have grown taller, they have grown heavier, and they are independently thinking, taking decisions, and risk taking also. So in that context, the person who has changed is the boy and the girl, the teenager. The person who has not changed is the person called mummy, daddy. Mummy and daddy do not know how to change because there is no physical change. And added to that, mummy, daddy are around 40, 45. That's the time both of them are thinking in terms of how I have lost my life a lot. I have not grown up to the level I should have grown up. And mummy and daddy are around 40, 45. They are looking for greener pastures, looking for some more options, looking to make more money, looking to get a promotion, looking to do something more than what they were doing in their life. And also, that's the time their body also starts talking to them, telling them, now you have cardiovascular issues, now you have blood pressure issues, now you have ulcer issues, now you have joint issues, now you have pain issues. So far, I was comfortable. Now around 40, 45, I have a menopause, or I have a hormonal imbalance, I have a physiological imbalances, and that's the time these people become very heavy and taller and heavier, and they take their own decisions. Now, two disadvantages. Children have grown stronger and I have grown weaker. Earlier I was stronger, children were weaker. Now they don't listen. Now mummy, daddy do not know what to do with them. Right? So the idea is for the parents to learn to accommodate, learn to adjust, learn to adapt to teenage children, not attempting to make teenage children adapt to you. Right? And we are also doing one more mistakes by and large. I think in India, especially, I've seen colleges around in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, wherein the boys are not supposed to talk to girls, girls are not supposed to talk to boys in the college premises. What they do outside is a different story, but then these people restrict them. So separate staircase for a girl, separate staircase for the boy, separate lift for a girl, separate lift for a boy, separate everything. So boy and girl are not supposed to talk within the college campuses. Agreed. Now that's the way you want them to be. You have control over them, you have power over them, and you can punish them, you can fine them, you can take whatever action on them. So what I'm saying is, by putting them, by placing them in the college and not allowing the boy and the girl to talk to each other for 4 years, you make them engineers, you make them lawyers, you make them chartered accountants, you make them become doctors. Right? Wonderful. So 4 years, 5 years, they learn something and they will become doctors, they will become MBA managers, they will become chartered accountants and company secretaries and cost accountants and whatever. Wonderful. For 4 or 5 years, you deprived them of talking to the other sex. The boy cannot talk to sex, girl or girl cannot talk to boy. With the result, they become unqualified to enter into marital relationships or family relationships or understanding the other sex. You are promoting them, making them engineers, and you are also disqualifying them, making them unfit to live a life, unfit to become husband, unfit to become wife, unfit to become parents, unfit to lead a marital happy well-being, because they were prevented for 4 years. You teach engineering, they become engineers. You don't teach a boy who is a girl, you don't teach a girl who is a boy, and they will naturally fail and they will have a lot of problems, issues later, and that's the time people come for counseling and therapy. So the idea is, once again, I tell you, parents have got to give 2 things to children. Number 1, you are lovable no matter what you do. I love you, you are lovable. You commit mistakes, I don't agree with what you do, but then I still love you. You may be an alcoholic, still I love you. I will make all attempts to see that you come out of alcohol, but then I still love you. I will never stop loving you. Number 1, you need to love your children because they are your children, period, over. No qualification. If you get 80%, if you pass this examination, if you do what I say, if you come back home in time, if you listen to what I'm telling you, if you don't talk back to me, then you're okay. No way. They are okay the way they are. That's the way they are designed. That's the way nature has designed them. So you love them because you brought them into being. You gave them existence. So love them unconditionally, irrespective of what they do, irrespective of how they behave, irrespective of whatever they do, you got to love them because they are your children. Number 1. Rule 2. Be confident. Have self-confidence. I will back you up. I will support you. Follow your passion. Just because other people do it, don't do it. Whatever you feel like doing, go ahead and do it. I will support you. I will back you up. If it needs to be funded, I will see that I will fund you by taking loan or whatever. I am there to always support you. I am there always to assist you. I am there always to go with whatever decision that you take. Not necessarily you must be engineer just because mommy daddy says so, just because you can go to US, just because you can make money, just because you can make money in dollars and euros and pounds and sterlings. If the boy chooses to do something, if the girl chooses to do something, a different course, archaeology, anthropology, whatever. There is a lady by name Banny Basler, and she is working on bacteria, a single cellular bacteria for the past 30 years, and she is the authority in bacteria. Internationally, she is the number 1 authority in bacteria because she has been studying single cellular bacteria for the past 30 years. And she is number 1 expert. That way, if your children want to do something extraordinary, something which the other parents do not permit, or something which other students do not pursue, Go ahead, back them up, tell them, go be confident. I am there. I will support you. I will assist you. I will love you no matter what. These are the two things. Be self-confident. I love you no matter what. Either way, I back you up. I will support you. Now, so far was I clear? Somebody unmute and tell me.
Very clear, sir. Very wonderful.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Was I too fast? Is my speed okay?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but a pace, if can be a little slower, it would be good.
Fan, I tend to talk fast. Right. Let me slow down a little
Excuse
bit.
me, sir.
So coming to transactional analysis.
Hello.
Yes.
I was a little bit. I have apprehension about unconditional love.
Mhm.
I'm agreed with you. Our shastras, our scriptures, they are also saying the same thing.
Mm.
But then practically,
Mm.
there is an age from
Hmm.
8 years to 15 years. This is what I understand.
Mm.
Before 15 years, we have to bring them to the
Mm.
something called discipline.
Mm.
We call them sanskar.
Mm.
So, I mean, how do you take it? I mean, how do you fuse these two requirements, and what exactly should be
So-
the approach?
So, Prasad, I have two answers for you. Number one, we may have discussions at the end around 7:30.
Okay.
7:20, 7:31. Number two, you already have some information based on scriptures or based on the religion or based on the way you were brought up, and you think that is the right way. All that I'm telling you is listen to me for the next half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and pick up the information that I'm giving you, and then put whatever I have told you, put them into action and find out whether it works or not. If it doesn't work, leave it. If whatever you were doing works earlier, go ahead and follow that. This is another input that I'm telling you based on psychology, based on transactional analysis. Not necessarily transaction analysis or psychology has got to accept what every individual's mental perception is or already set in or based on their culture or religion or scriptures. Right? So keep an open mind, be with me, come along, and then we will discuss a little later. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Transactional analysis is a subject created by an individual called Dr. Eric Burns, supported by 20 other people. Transaction analysis is a subject of psychology. This is about personal change and this is about personal development, understanding our own selves. When two people get to meet each other, whatever happens in between them is a transaction. And in the process, transaction analysis more focuses attention on the unconscious mind and how we were brought up. And the moment we were born, it was called 0 years. And up till 5 or 6 or 7 years. 0 to 7 years is the time period. Transactional analysis says you have already decided how the rest of your life is going to be. And psychology and hypnosis and NLP says 0 to 5 years. TA says 0 to 7 years. By the time you are already set, you were born dependent, and you were born maybe 3 kg, and it takes about a year for you to stand up and walk also. By the time around 1 year, you get to know that all the people around me are giants, around 60-70 kg heavy, and also they can take care of themselves all by themselves. I am the only person not fit. I am the only little bit who is unfit, who don't belong here. I get to see all the ladies and all the men there. Everyone is walking all by themselves. They are 50, 60, 70 kg and they are 5 feet to 6 feet tall and they take care of themselves. I am unfit. So number one idea the baby gets is I am not okay. And then transaction analysis says all your life you were struggling to make yourself okay at some point of time or other. And then when you go to school, you want to score 80% and become okay. And then when you go to college, you want to make more friends and become okay. And then you need to have a girlfriend or boyfriend to be okay. And then you need to go to an office to be okay. And then you need to make so much of money to be okay. And then you need to make get a promotion and place in a country where you want, then you're okay. So it's always a struggle to become okay like. And TA also says the objective of TA is to become autonomous being on my own. Auto is on my own. If I can be on my own without my earlier baggage, irrespective of the way in which I was brought up, the circumstances, the environment, the surroundings, my parent, my financial status, my social status, and all those things are. Irrespective of all those things, I can be on my own, autonomous, taking my decisions and acting on my own, thinking for my own, feeling for my own, going for what I want from my own. That's the objective of transaction analysis. In order to do that, TSS, you need to have awareness, spontaneity, and intimacy. Awareness is making use of all my senses to connect with people around or situation around. Spontaneity is I don't have carry back earlier baggages. I'm spontaneous here in the moment, and I respond to the environment from the here and the now. Intimacy is I have some people or one or two, a man or a woman, some people who I am intimate with, who I don't have any reservations, hesitation, sharing all my happiness, all my sorrows, all my embarrassments, all my misgivings, all my crimes even. So I need to be intimate with some people. I need to be spontaneous in a given situation without my baggage, based on the way in which I was brought up, using all my senses with my awareness. So when we do these things, I become autonomous. And T also says every single individual has got dignity, which includes your teenager also. He or she has dignity. And they have worth also. Every single individual has got dignity. Every single individual has got worth that includes your teenage children, boy and the girl. And everyone has got the capacity to think. Your teenager has the capacity to think. And they have the capacity to decide also. And they have the capacity to, they have the right to change their decisions also. These are the basic principles of TA. Everyone has got dignity, everyone has got worth, everyone can think, everyone can decide, everyone can change their decisions if need be. So these are the premises or the principles or the presuppositions or assumptions based on which transaction analysis stands. Coming over, Dr. Eric Burns says all of us have got three ego states. Structurally, we have three ego states. Meaning ego state is not the ego, meaning pride or something, I, ahankara, whatever. TA simply says ego state is a mental state, just a mental state, a consistent pattern of thoughts and feelings leading to a consistent pattern of action or behavior. I come again. Ego state is a consistent pattern of my thought and feeling inside or experiences inside and resulting in leading to my behavior outside. So this is an ego state, and there are three ego states. We call them as parent and adult and child. Child ego state says, I want everything, pleasure principle, very similar to Freud's pleasure principle. So the child wants everything. And there is another one called parent, which is called a morality principle, and it's called superego by Freud. Parent and superego and morality principle, they all go together or they're similar, not exactly the same, but because more psychologists here, I am bringing in a little bit of psychology, connecting it with TA. So child and the pleasure principle and Eid go together. Superego and morality principle and parent go together. So morality principle says this you can do, this you cannot do, and what is permitted, what is not permitted, what is socially acceptable, what is not socially acceptable, what is socially desirable, what is not. How can a person, how can an individual become a good human being or a good citizen in this community or in the world? So morality principle always restricts you. The pleasure principle always seeks everything. In between, there is the adult from TA language. It's called adult. In Freud calls it as ego, and it's also called as a reality principle. So the adult and the reality principle and ego, they are similar. So the adult or the reality principle balances everything that the child wants and also understands what are the restrictions or what are the expected norms based on the society from the morality principle, and then it gives you something and lets you wait for something else for a little while or shelve something for a little later life. So pleasure wants everything, morality curtails everything, and reality gives you something. So that's the way. So child ego state is more associated with expressing all emotions, freely expressing all emotions. And parent ego state is the one which is based on rules and regulations, what is right and what is wrong. The ability to discern the right and wrong is what makes us you and me as a human being like. So reality principle or the adult balances coming from the here and now. Whenever I feel like the child, when I was a child, whatever I felt, if I feel the same way here and now, I am in the child ego state. When I was 4 years old, my mummy scolded me. And then now that I'm in the office, if my boss is scolding me, and if I feel the same way, exactly the way I was a child in front of my mummy when I was 4 years old, and I get the same reaction here, I start reliving the same experience here in my office as a grown-up 25 years old person. Are you with me? So mummy was scolding the baby 20 years back as a 4 years old child. Now 20 years later, I am in the office and standing in front of my superior or the boss or the manager or whoever, and the boss is scolding me and the boss is pinpointing some mistakes in me. I feel exactly the way I felt when I was a child. That's called child experience. That's called child ego state. Anything and everything that you borrowed from your earlier life, your own earlier life, that's called child. Parent is when you were a child, you were observing your mummy and daddy to be acting in a particular way, speaking in a particular way, feeling in a particular way, ordering you around in a particular way, and then you started modeling them without your awareness. Jovially, we say even mummy, daddy cannot prevent the child learning the mother tongue. Even if they want to prevent the child learning the mother tongue, they cannot prevent it because the baby will always model mummy and daddy. So, as a grown-up person, if I behave with my children or if I behave with my colleagues or subordinates or superiors in the office exactly the way my daddy, my mummy behaved in front of me, if I emulate or model or mimic or copy my mummy daddy's actions today now, I am in the parent ego state. Leaving both these aside, coming from the here and now, living in the present, moment to moment living, as an adult, as a grown-up person, if I can think for myself, if I can decide for myself, if I can tabulate all the raw materials or data that I have, I can shortlist, I can put something into action, see what happens and monitor the course of action. And if need be, change the course of action, or if need be, I go to B plan or Z plan, whatever, then I am an adult. Adult is data processing, adult is like computer, adult is not borrowed. The child ego state is borrowed when I was a child. Parent ego state is borrowed when I was a child looking at my parents and modeling. So this is not borrowed, this is not old. This is new, this is here. Based on the data processing, based on the information now I have. So we need to have child ego state, we need to have adult ego state, we need to have parent ego state also. And in some of the training programs, I might have told people, meaning supposing I go to a shop and I buy a pen for 10 rupees. And to the shopkeeper, I give him 50 rupees. And the shopkeeper thought I gave him 100 rupees and the shopkeeper returned 90 rupees to me. Now, the first thing, the thought or the first feeling that comes to my mind is, I got a profit 50 rupees. Actually, I gave 50. The cost of the pen is 10. He must have given me 40. Instead of giving me 40, he gave me 90. My child ego state started operating and then it said, aha, 50 rupees profit. In less than 2 seconds, my morality principle came over, my parent took over, and the parent said, you call yourself a trainer and you go all around everywhere in India and you do training programs and personality development. How dare you take 50 rupees? And then the 5th second, 2 seconds my child said profit, 2 seconds my parent said you should not do it. 5th second, I returned 50 rupees to the shopkeeper and tell him, don't sleep, don't be lazy, I gave you only 50, take back the 50. Meaning in 2 seconds, I can change my ego state. Not necessarily that I'll be in parent ego state for 1 day or 1 month or one year like. Get it wrong. So my ego states keep on changing me. Functionally, as I told you, parent, adult and child is a structure. That is like a car or that is like an air conditioner here. So the contents of the air conditioner or what the air conditioner, what is inside the air conditioner or what is in the motorcycle or a car is called structure. What the motorcycle or the car does is to take me from here to there, from this place to that place, from my home to office, office to home. What the air conditioner does, it is to regulate the air in such a way it becomes suitable to me. So this is what is there, this is what it does. So functional ego states are critical parent and then nurturing parent. Parent is divided into 2 different areas. One is called critical or controlling parent. The other one is called nurturing parent, loving parent, caring parent. And the adult does not have any subdivisions. The child gets divided into two areas. One is called a free child. The other one is called adapted child. So originally we had a structure called parent, adult, child 3. Now we have a functional ego states called 5. One is critical or controlling parent. The other one is nurturing parent. The other one is adult. The other one is free child. The other one is adapted child. Now, based on the way in which I lead my life, sometimes I'm in my nurturing parent, sometimes in controlling parent, sometimes in adult, sometimes in free child, sometimes in adapted child. Now, as I am talking with you, the reason why I'm speaking about transact analysis, especially for parents with teenagers, is to come from my nurturing parent, helping people to cope with their children or relate better with their children or how to love their children. So I am coming from a nurturing parent. In the process, I also told you initially, the children are like that, you don't understand, that is the reason why you got into problems. That was my controlling parent or critical parent telling you, this is not the way you shall be behaving with your teenage children. They are not young anymore. They are not listening or dependent on you anymore. And then in the process, I gave you 10 different tips on how to bring up children so far teenage. And then I have entered into the objective of TA and the principles of TA and ego state structural and then ego states functional. These are all called data. Now these are all coming from my adult. And in the process, I also tell you some jokes that is coming from my free child. And then when you ask me some questions, I give you an answer. Give you an answer in such a way you can understand. I wanted to have a feedback. How am I doing? Am I audible? Am I visible? Someone told me you are fast. I continue to remain fast. Many a time I get carried away with the subject, but the thought process is faster. I tend to talk faster. So in the process, I adapt to other people's needs, understanding that people want me to talk slow. I manage to slow down my speed. So within this 1 hour program also, I am coming from my nurturing parent, I am coming from my controlling parent, I am using my adult, I am coming from my free child, I am also coming from my adapted child. Meaning all these 5 have got their own place in our lives also. So sometimes you need to be in controlling parent, sometimes you need to be in adapted child, sometimes you need to be in free child and free child, adapted child, adult or nurturing parent, controlling parent also. Now I would like to give you a 5 minutes exercise. Yeah, 5 minutes exercise. Supposing you got 100 rupees or 100 points. And based on the way in which you relate with your children, your teenage children, if you have teenage children, if it is other children, it's okay. Children of other age groups also, it's okay. Now look at the way you and your children alone, forget your husband, forget your wife. How are you related with your children? That's the idea. And think you have 100 rupees on hand. And based on the input that I have given you now, how many times are you criticizing your children? How many times you are offering them love and care and affection, take care of them and protect them? How many times you give them enough information, data, without making it as an advice or a monologue or a nagging? And how many times you are happy with them or playing with them or relating with them or talking with them about something on earth, about dolphins, about astronomy, about the solar system, about archaeology, whatever? Are you happy being with them? How many times you adapt to their needs, listening to them and understanding what they want and giving them what they want? How many times are you adapting to their needs? Supposing you tell your children, go to sleep by 10 o'clock and they say, I'll go to sleep by 11 o'clock, and then you adapt to them and you tell them, okay, go ahead and sleep, remain awake, play till 11 o'clock and then come back. Meaning you adapted to your children. When you compel them to sleep by 10 o'clock, then you want your children to adapt to you. So in that context, if you're 100, I want you to rearrange your 100 in such a way, you distribute your 100 in such a way, based on the way you live with, you relate with, you speak with, you feel with in the family atmosphere, because we are talking about parents and the teenagers only. So how many marks will you give your CP, critical parent? How many marks will you give your nurturing parent, unconditional love, caring, loving? How many marks will you give yourself or your adult, giving them data, information and speaking with them? How many marks or how many points will you give yourself for your free child, your expression, free expression, allowing them free expression. How many marks you give yourself for your adapting to your children life? Distribute the 100 among them. Total is restricted to 100. You arrive at your number in a couple of minutes, and some of you let me know. Go ahead. Based on your real life experience, whatever comes to your mind first is the right answer. If you think you are stuck someplace, come from your son's point of view, come from your daughter's point of view. Don't say I'm the greatest daddy, don't say I'm the greatest mummy. Come from their point of view. Distribute the 100 into 5 different areas. Total must add up to 100. It can't be less, it can't be more. Well, are we done?
Done, sir.
One or two, can you give me the numbers?
Yes,
5
sir.
numbers alone.
I am giving, sir.
Yes.
10, 25, 20, 20, 25.
Right. Oh, good. Thank you, Sudha. Others? One or two, give me the numbers.
Sir, can I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have done it with my parents, old age parents, and for my all the relationships. It has been very amusing. So for my elderly parents who are 80 in their 80s, 60, 10, 15, 10, and 5.
Lopsided.
Yeah, I'm more fearful of their wellness. So yeah, and I've done it with my niece and nephews. They're like 5, 25, 25, 5, and 40.
5 and 40. Adopted child.
Adopted
40
child.
adopted child. Oh.
I'm like staying less with them. So it's all the adaptation all the time with very little time spent with them.
Right, right.
More nurturing, more adaptation.
Welcome.
Less controlling.
Welcome, Ritu. Now, So, what Ritu was telling us was there is an adopted child with 40 and there is a nurturing parent with 60 or something, meaning
Yeah.
that a little lopsided. I am saying the next question is, doesn't matter how your ego state is, you have drawn an egogram. It's called an egogram, meaning you have 5 different units: critical parent and nurturing parent and adult and free child and adopted child. And you given the marks there. Now my question is, are you quite happy with the way in which the marks are there?
No, not at all.
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Meaning
Yes.
there could be a better way to relate with people. Meaning there could be an ideal egogram. This is the real egogram.
Right.
This is in reality, this is the way you are, this is the way you think you are. Right?
Right.
And I don't think any person is highly happy. I'm absolutely comfortable, blissful. This is the best way to live, and I'm living to the best of my abilities. I am saying, looking at your egogram, maybe you will always notice that there is a possibility that you could change the egogram in such a way it could be better for you and better for the people around you, especially your teenage children. So now I want you to draw another egogram, meaning this redistribute the 100 in such a way that there will be a change way. Maybe your critical parent will come down less, maybe your nurturing parent will be more, maybe your adult will come less, maybe your free child will be more. I do not know. You have 10 options now. Critical parent can be increased, decreased, nurturing parent can be increased, decreased, adult can be increased, decreased, free child can be increased, decreased, adopted child can be increased, decreased. 10 options available now. So focus more attention on what you want to be and increase the one which you needs to be increased. Automatically, out of necessity, the other things will come down. Rearrange the egogram in such a way, redistribute the marks or points in such a way. Yeah, the way you want to be, the way you want to relate with children, the way you want to relate with other people. Rearrange the egogram now and draw another one. I'll give you 2 minutes. Add something to something and reduce something in something. Rearrange the way you want to be. Then you will be happy, then they will be happy. You will be healthy, they will be healthy. You look forward to meeting them and they look forward to meeting you. And you can coexist in the same living room, same bedroom, same kitchen, same hall. Done? So, transactional analysis lets you know that you have 5 ego states, functional ego states, and you're using it in a particular way to relate with people in the family or in the office or in the society. By and large, you are getting by, but then you are not quite happy with yourself or happy with the people around you in the family or in the office or in the society or in the friend circle. And now you know this is the way I am by drawing an egogram, by distributing 100 marks among all these 5. And now you also know this doesn't work in my favor. This is not the way I want it to be. I want it to be in a better manner. I want to be an ideal person. I want to relate with people in a much more loving manner, much more caring manner, or much more understanding manner. In order to do that, now I have 5 different ego states and 10 different options to either increase or decrease them. Now I know what do I need to do, where to increase and where to decrease. All the other areas, if you go for other learning programs, they may tell you, become a better person and don't get angry, show love. This is all too generic, and it's a great canvas, it's a very large canvas. Here, the use of transaction analysis is very clearly, it tells you, you have 3 structural ego states, you have 5 functional ego states, and these 5 functional ego states is the way in which you relate with people around. And if this is the way you transact business with them, or this is the way you live with them, you are not quite happy with it. You become aware of it, and then you know how I need to change myself in order to relate better with them, in order to be a better loving, caring person. Now you change your ego states in such a way, the egogram in such a way, your ideal egogram comes up. Now you know how you need to change your life also, change your behavior also, change your actions also, change your thought process also, change your feelings also. Right? So this becomes an eye-opener for you. You have drawn the egogram originally. You have said it is not okay. You have said there is an ideal egogram. You said this is the way it will be ideal. Now you know what to do, what not to do. So this is a plus point from TA. Coming over. And then using the transactions, I tell you, if I am speaking from my parent, now what you are doing is I am speaking from my adult and you are listening to me from your adult. In the process, as I am telling you something, you think this is not okay, then you are coming from a critical parent. And if you think it's a nice idea, then you are coming from a nurturing parent. And if you listen to the joke or you are happy about the way in which you are, then you are coming from a free child. Only recommendation that I can tell you now is in a very generalized way, see that your free child is 20, because that is what is giving you the energy, that is what you giving you your hold in life. So see that the free child is around 20, is at 20 or a little more than 20 or a little less than 20, but around 20. If the free child is not there, if the free child is 5 or 10, you will not be loving, you will not be happy with yourself, you will not be happy with other people also. So my only recommendation is see that your free child is somewhere around 20. And coming over, when I transact with people, when I relate with people, when I talk to people, when I am with people, I need to understand that if I am coming from my adult, now I am from adult and you are from adult. Supposing I am from my parent, I expect you to come from your parent. Supposing I am coming from my child and you come from your child, then it's called parallel transactions or complementary transaction. So I am from my parent, you are from your parent, complementary. I am from my adult, you are from your adult, complementary. I am from my child, you are from your child, complementary. I am from my parent and you are from your child, that also could be complementary. I am from my child and you are from your parent, that also could be complementary. One more thing. So wherever the transaction is complementary, the transaction will keep going continuously. People are happy being with each other. People are happy transacting business with each other. People are happy living with each other. The idea is to see that we go for complementary transaction. Supposing I ask you what is the time now and you tell me you're already late, then there is a cross transaction. If I ask you what is the time now, you tell me it's 7:30, that's called complementary transaction. Are you with me? Where is my car key? You should not have drunk yesterday. That's a cross transaction. Where is my car key? Car key is up on top of the TV. That's a complementary transaction. That way, understand the ego state from which the other person wants you to come and come from that ego state, and it becomes complementary transaction. Supposing I am from a critical parent and I criticize my son, I expect my son to tell me I am sorry. I want him to come from his adopted child. Because I am coming from a critical parent, I want my son or daughter to come from their adopted child. If I am from adult, I expect an adult. If I am from my free child, I expect my nurturing parent to say, go ahead and play, enjoy, freak out. So nurturing parent will want a free child, adult will want an adult, critical parent will want an adopted child. Normally, parent to parent, adult to adult, child to child, or parent to child and child to parent. These are the complementary transactions. Wherever the transactions are complementary, relationship is healthy, communication is healthy, team building is healthy, leadership is healthy, productivity is healthy, everything is healthy. Everyone is comfortable, everyone is loving, caring, everyone is friendly. Wherever the transaction is crossed, wherever the communication is crossed, then the communication breaks down. At that point of time, one or both have got to change their ego state such that they come in touch with each other, communication gets re-established, relationship gets re-established. Supposing I shout at my son and then I realize I should not have shouted at him at that point of time. I realize it a little later, maybe 5 minutes later, maybe an hour later, and then I go apologize to my son, telling him, sorry, I should not have shouted like that. Get it? Then I have changed my ego state, coming from a critical parent to nurturing parent now. Or I could explain it to him, son, I thought this is the way you were. Now I understand this was not the way you were. I am sorry. Then that becomes an adult. So I can come from my adult and I can come from a nurturing parent. I can change my ego state in such a way the other person gets to understand, and then the relationship gets re-established. That's the purpose of ego states. That's the purpose of transactional analysis. So create a complementary transaction. If there is a cross transaction, change your ego state in such a way you are able to relate with your teenage children, because teenage children normally do not change their ego states all by themselves, because they are designed by nature to be that way. It is up to you. It is your responsibility. It is your prerogative. It is your locus standi to change your ego state in such a way that you are able to relate with teenage children. Don't expect other people to change. Don't expect your teenage children to change, because they will not change. The idea of the training program is to say that we create a beautiful relationship and we create established communication status, so that I am recommending you to change your ego state to suit the needs of his ego state or her ego state, your teenage son, your teenage daughter. Right? And one more area is give more strokes to people, meaning appreciate, recognize, congratulate. Look for opportunities to congratulate and appreciate and recognize your children by your smile, by your words. You can also read the book by Gary Chapman, Love Language. So spend quality time with them and touch them and appreciate them, give them gifts and all those things. Or do some work, act of service, help them out in their education or some such. Get the point? So express your love, express your affection, spend quality time with them. Spend some time with them. Spending time with them does not mean go to WhatsApp and go to LinkedIn or go to Facebook or keep watching TV together. Meaning eye contact, one-on-one, you talk to each other and there's no other person in the world like. Right? Give strokes. Wherever it is possible for you to appreciate your children, go ahead and appreciate. And when they appreciate you, receive them. Tell them, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Welcome, always welcome, most welcome. I love to be appreciated, and get appreciation from your children. The more you give good morning, the more they will give good morning. The more you thank them, the more they will thank you. The more you appreciate them, they will also appreciate you. And do not give negative criticism. If at all you have to give a negative criticism to people, your teenage children especially, cushion it with a positive statement earlier and then a positive statement later. Normally, you are a well-behaved person. Today, I noticed that you use some slang words which are inappropriate. I am not happy about it. I know you can always change. I love you. Meaning you are always a good boy. You are always a good girl. That was a compliment. That was a positive stroke. And then I tell them, the way in which you spoke with mommy, the way in which you talk back to daddy is not quite all right. I'm not happy about it. And then you say, I know you will change. I know you're a good boy. I know you're a good girl. I like you. I like you. I love you. Then again, another positive. Meaning, anytime you give a criticism to teenage children, give a positive first and then what it is. Tell them exactly what it is. Don't tell them I hate you. Don't tell them you're good for nothing. That's all very bland, very large generalized statement. Tell them exactly the particular action, the particular behavior, the particular language, the particular word, the particular statement, which was not okay. And then tell them one more compliment and close it. And do more things that are appreciable, recognizable, congratulatable. if you do something for the children and the children feel like, mommy did this to me, daddy did this to me, and they feel happy about it. So do more of it. And then anytime you do something good for them and they don't give you a stroke, ask for strokes. Mummy did this for you. I deserve a stroke. Give me a thanks, give me an appreciation. And you ask for it. And if strokes are not given to you, appreciate yourself. I did a good job to my son. I did a good job to my daughter. I'm happy as a mummy. I'm happy as a daddy. You stroke yourself. Always tell your children to stroke themselves. Give strokes, accept strokes, reject negative strokes, and do something which is strokeable, and then receive strokes also in abundance. And if nobody strokes, ask for strokes from mummy, daddy. And if nobody strokes them, ask them to stroke themselves and feel good about themselves. So by and large, I am done. TA talks about an objective, become a winner. Awareness, spontaneity, intimacy. TA talks about 3 ego states, parent, adult, child. TA talks about 5 functional ego states, nurturing parent, critical parent, adult, free child, adopted child. When transactions are complementary, relationship is healthy. When transactions are cross, someone has got to change the ego state in such a way, he gets connected, re-establishes connection, relationship, communication. I have drawn an egogram and I'm not quite happy about it. I need to change my egogram. I change my egogram. I change my egogram in such a way, it becomes an ideal egogram. I know what to do in order to make the ideal egogram, put it into action by changing my behavior, my feeling, my action, my thought process. I'm willing to do something more in that area, something less in this area. Then I'll become an ideal person. I will always appreciate my children. I will give them unconditional love. I will make them feel self-confident. I will tell them I love you. In case they do something wrong, I will tell them the particular act is not okay with me, but then I love you unconditionally, no matter what, because you are my child, you are my children. I love my daughter, I love my son. Done.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Really got it very clear about it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.
Wonderful
Sir,
session.
awesome, sir. As usual, sir. My love towards you growing day by day like a huge banyan tree, sir. Becoming a fan of you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the insights, sir.
Welcome.
Very grateful to you, sir, for sharing such a huge amount of wisdom in such a short span of time. It's very, very crisp and really marvelous. I think lives will change. You have made a big impact. Thank you so much, sir.
Subhashree Vanamali categorically told me close by 7:30. I took 6 more
My
minutes.
God, we would love this session again and again, this kind of sessions.
Welcome, welcome. Others?
Thank you very much.
Sir, very good presentation.
I am from UP and there is a term used to give the highest score. Sir, Charan Sparsh. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this much of experience to talk. Highly needed. I
Yeah,
just want to public your words as much as possible. I was just recorded it. Thank you so much, sir. Would like to have your contact and mail ID.
Come again?
Sir, I would like to have your mail ID and contact, please.
Contact number is 93810
93810
34310.
34310.
And my mail ID is minddynamics@gmail.com. MIND, mind, DYNAMICS, dynamics@gmail.com.
Thank you, sir. Grateful, sir.
Welcome.
Dynamic.
I'm also
Please mention your number. It must not be wrong if I have written it.
93810 34310. minddynamics@gmail.com.
Ma'am, I have typed Sar's number and email ID in the chat box, ma'am. You can please refer to it.
Yeah, welcome. Good. That's nice of you.
For your wonderful insights on transaction analysis, and beautiful it was throughout the session to listen to you. So if the participants would have any questions, you can just ask to Sir or put your questions in the chat box. We can have a quick discussion and then we can wind up the session.
one question now.
Yes.
Sir, Like I said, I'm living with my elderly parents. I'm taking care of them, and I saw that lopsided score. The critical parent on the top was very high. So now I'm trying to tweak it. And only question is it like the egogram has to be different for all age groups, or you like, as a person you are same, like you cannot change much in your.
Told you cannot change much. You can always change.
I mean in all relationships, different relationships, I need to say.
I'm saying make a progress in the right direction.
Okay.
If something is 50 or 60, bring it down to 40 or 50 like.
Okay. Okay.
Freud used to say, if you feel like killing somebody and instead of killing them, you beat up with a stick, then you made progress.
Right, sir. So children, elderly parents, or like, more or less I'm seeing a huge shift in that. Teenagers, I have a different egogram. So is it different for all relationships? That was my question.
My point is, the two people involved, how do they relate? That's the only question.
Okay.
Irrespective of the age, irrespective of the gender. When two people come across each other, how do they relate with each other?
Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, any other questions?
Yes, sir.
I know a couple of men who are in their, in a married family state, and they have abandoned their mother, sir. I know them, but the parents are really willing to talk to them and, patch up and build it up again. But the children don't want. They belong to two different families, sir. What kind of state would it be, sir?
The point is that it could be either way. Getting an information from one side may not be adequate. Maybe parents might have committed some mistakes in such a way, children have taken the decision to move away. That could be a possibility. I'm not criticizing the parents, I'm saying there could be a possibility also. Right? And the other thing is, if there could be a connectivity with somebody, no, I have my children and I'm here, and there will be somebody else who my children and I both report to or both listen to. Like, there could be an uncle, there could be an aunt, there could be a grandfather, grandmother, and then with their support, re-establish the contact. And then maybe one could apologize, maybe one could open up, maybe one could cry. And crying is okay in a counseling session, crying is okay in rebuilding a relationship. So instead of shouting, instead of finding fault, instead of aggravating the given situation, wherein I can change my ego state and then get connected. So using my adult, I identify a person who can talk to me, who can talk to my children also, and then can get connected to the person. And then using my nurturing parent, I get connected with my son or daughter who estranged me, who moved away from me. And then express my free love to them, coming from my free child, expressing my joy towards getting reunited. They will also by and by come over. That's what I think. Otherwise, I need to have a one-on-one counseling session.
I think your idea will help, sir, because only one side is ready to open up and talk to the children, sir. But the children side, they are not very much open to come out and talk. Maybe, as you said, we should have a common person for both sides, and then we have to help them in rebuilding it again, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, one company people called me for a program, and they irritated me the way in which they said, give a 10 minutes talk, sir. Some jokes are enough, sir. I said, go to dogs. And then they got hold of a person who I respect, and then they called them and said, we made a mistake talking to him that way. Please ask him to give a talk here. And then the other person called me and said, did this person call you? Yes, sir. Did you say yes, sir? No. And they are my people and they are my friends. Unwittingly, they said something like that. Please excuse them and go and make a presentation for about an hour. And then I went over there. Meaning they initially irritated me, but then they got to know that they made a mistake. They contacted the person who could re-establish the contact. And then I listened to the other person because I respect the other person. And then I said it is okay, and then went over and gave a talk. Are you with me? That's
Yes,
how
sir,
we
yes,
do it.
sir. Yes, sir. I can listen. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is Sudha here. I given that my five functional ego states for myself with my teenage children. I have two teenage boys. For them only I given. I want to know whether we do you have this in the ego state should be in the particular positions for the teenagers. It will be healthy like that.
Now, what I will recommend you to do is ask your children to draw an egogram for you.
Okay.
Mummy's egogram, son's point of view, daughter's point of view. Wife's egogram, husband's point of view. Your egogram for your husband and children. And then bring them all together. If they are nearby each other, 20, 25 or 15, 20 like, then you are comfortable. Supposing you say my critical parent is only 10 and your son says your mummy's critical parent is 40, then you are looking at the same given situation from two different perspectives.
Okay.
So draw an egogram for all the yourself and your family members. Ask your family members to draw an egogram for you. Have a dinner and go out into the garden or to the terrace. Relax comfortably. Look into the egogram without finding fault. How dare you give me 40? No, that's not the way to talk. Please tell me, why did you give me 40? I am willing to change. Mummy is okay. Mummy is willing to change herself. Please tell me, why did you give me 40? Get the point? That's the way we approach. Have dinner, relax, and then sit with your children, husband, and then sort it out. Draw an egogram for everyone else.
Okay.
Ask them, what would be the ideal egogram for mummy? How do you want your mummy to be? Ask them to say that. And tell them, these are the areas I'm willing to change. This is something I'm not compromising. Get that? So that way you can re-establish contact. Some areas you will tell your children, yes, I am with you. Some areas you can tell your children, sorry, mummy won't oblige.
Okay. Now understood, sir. Understood. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you very
Hi,
much.
sir. I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. This is about a teenage kid, my friend's teenage daughter.
Mm.
Like every afternoon, she says, like, I just want to be alone. And she stays alone for 2 to 3 hours. Like, we just want to know, like, is this very normal for teenagers or how we should take it?
So the teenager, either it is a lack of self-confidence or they could be introverts. Better they seek some counseling from a recognized psychologist.
Okay,
For
sir.
teenager, it is good to go out and play.
No, usually she plays and all, but only in the afternoon this happens.
Something might have triggered that. We need to find out what it is. Hypnosis, hypnotherapy can help, psychotherapy can help, and NLP can help, TA can help. A good psychologist can always help. Consult,
Okay,
and then if she is comfortable doing that way, being that way, then it's okay. But then it is good to consult. A teenager is normally bound to be outside and not inside.
Okay.
Out of necessity, a teenager will come home.
Okay, sir. Got you.
That is normal for a teenager.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a very clear and wonderful session. Thank you.
Welcome.
It was an opportunity from us to hear you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, welcome.
Sir, there's one case, if I could ask.
Excuse me,
So
ma'am. I
basic-
think we have to write your questions to sir in his mail, ma'am. He has given his number and mail. If this is going to be the last question, then we can let it go, ma'am.
Yeah. Let this be the last question.
Okay, okay. Please, ma'am, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a teenager who she is always inside the room. She has gone through, she's seen the divorce of her parents, and now she's with the new father. And both the parents are very concerned, and she is locked up inside the room whole day. And with the digital influx and last year the lockdown, all their classes have also gone online. And so the child, all the teenagers right now, they're perpetually in the rooms. And if they have a room for themselves, they are not even coming to talk, or even one meal a day is becoming very difficult, and hardly the parents get to see. They are almost in tears, even with parents of their own, biological parents also. Same issues are happening, sir. So how do we really take this forward?
They need some counseling. It is quite understandable that there is a divorce and there is a remarriage and there is a teenager. So all these three factors put together, there is bound to be some issues, because biological parents have divorced and there is a new daddy there, and these people are teenagers. By myself as a teenager, I have my own issues. By my parents, when they divorce, I have my issues. when there is somebody, a newcomer, a new adult comes into play inside the family, there will be a new issue. They definitely need some guidance and counseling.
They're not willing to go out for counseling, no eye contact, no one-to-one, no socializing, nothing. Like there's no trust.
The caring person has got to repeatedly make an attempt at making them understand that I really care for you. I want you to be jubilant and joyous and buoyant and be out in the play. And this is not okay being at home. I am here to help out. So when the other person truly cares and the other person truly expresses, coming from the free child and nurturing parent, and I want you to play with your free child when they get the message, and then they will come with an adult to get a counseling.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank
Right.
you, sir.
So
Thank
I enjoyed being with you all, and I think there are about 60 people or so, 60, 70, I do not know. It's a real pleasure being with you all. And once again, thanks a lot to Subhashri and organizers. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Sir, it's our pleasure to thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, you have been so nice in executing and narrating a story kind of thing, sir, with how to deal with punishments, rewards, adaptations, ego states, and egogram. And I, as a non-psychologist person, it's really a beautiful learning to me, sir. It was wonderful, and I think it's going to have an impact in the people's life who have attended to your session today.
Good.
So thank you for your time and valuable contribution you have done to us in our learning process, sir, and learn journey together. Thank you. I thank you on behalf of the core team members, the organizers of this series, and also the participants for this beautiful evening. And also I thank the participants for their patient listening and support throughout, sir. Thank you very much again. Thank you one and all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Muthiah Ramanathan. I'm Sundar from Dubai. Very happy to attend the session. It is a very useful session. I am from IT. I'm working as IT administrator. I just today only I just learned that what is transaction analysis. It's a very wonderful session. I want to learn more from you in future.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
For all the participants, I have a YouTube channel by name Mind Dynamics Tamil. People with Tamil who know Tamil can access YouTube. There are about 100 videos on self-development, 10 on hypnosis, 10 on transaction analysis, 10 for managers, 10 for top people, like 100 videos available. For other people, go to udemy.com, UDEMY, udemy.com. 3 of my courses on transaction analysis are available there. One more I will be uploading in a couple of days on hypnosis also. Right? Go to udemy.com, access Muthiah Ramanathan, transaction analysis, you will get my course. So enroll into the course and benefit. It's A to Z transaction analysis. Today I covered only ego states and a little bit of egogram. Right?
Okay.
Chances of coming YouTube also, sir.
Thank you so much.